Publishing Services Co. Where every story starts to grow. From dreams you write to works you share, we shape your pages with gentle care. Your published book, your research too, we bring your voice to something new. Each printed line, each thought you frame, we help your words find their names. Setcha Publishing, we make your story shine. Every chapter, every line, beautifully aligned for every writer, ready to let their words flow. Trust Setcha Book Publishing Services Co.
Opening prayer, loving and gracious God, we thank you for bringing us together today. As we begin this CETRAB seminar, we ask for your guidance, wisdom, and clarity of mind. Bless our speakers and participants, that we may learn with open hearts and grow in knowledge and purpose. May everything we do today be fruitful and bring positive impact to our teaching, our learners, and our community. We offer this prayer with gratitude and hope. Amen. Participants are required to attend the seminar from start until the end. The QR code for the seminar evaluation will be shared only at the end of the program. Kindly ensure that you stay until the final session to receive the official QR code. Completion of the online evaluation form is mandatory in order to claim the certificate of participation. The QR code and evaluation link will only be accepted within 1 hour after the seminar ends. Evaluation submissions beyond this time will no longer be accommodated. Certificates will be issued only to participants who attended the seminar until the end and successfully completed the evaluation within the given time frame. Participants are advised to check their internet connection and scan the QR code immediately once it is provided. Reminder: all participants are strongly encouraged to complete the seminar until the end to receive the QR code for the evaluation and certificate. Please note that there is 1 hour after the seminar to complete and submit the evaluation form. Our guest speaker is a graduate of Master of Arts in Education major in Filipino and is currently pursuing a Doctor of Education major in Educational Management. He is an assistant professor at National University Baliwag, a language coordinator, and a licensed professional teacher. Let us warmly welcome Mr. Raymond R. Galvez. May we give him a virtual round of applause.
Good day, everyone. Let's talk about artificial intelligence for teaching and instructional design. So before we proceed with our discussion, allow me to introduce myself with you. I am Assistant Professor Raymond Galvez from National University Baliwag. I am the Language Coordinator of the General Education Department. I finished Master of Arts in Education major in Filipino and Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Filipino. Currently, I'm finishing my Doctor of Education major in Educational Management at National University, and also I'm a licensed professional teacher. So when we talk about our topic, artificial intelligence for teaching and instructional design, we're not talking about the use of artificial intelligence on the part of our learners or our students. Commonly, it is a debate in the academe, in the basic education, and in the higher education about the proper use of artificial intelligence, most especially in the submission of activities given by teachers. But our discussion today is about the use of teachers and educators like us in the use of artificial intelligence in teaching and the preparation of instructional design. So when we talk about artificial intelligence and education, ito na ngayon yung pag-uusapan natin. The common question will be, is it a choice now whether to use artificial intelligence or not to use artificial intelligence? Because there are some traditionalist educators that doesn't appreciate the very essence of artificial intelligence, and there are some who are enjoying the benefit of using AI. So the year 2026 has solidified the role of artificial intelligence in the classroom. We have moved past in the initial panic of will AI help students cheat and into a more sophisticated era of how does AI redefine what it means to learn. So let's talk about the new educational horizon with regard to artificial intelligence in the academe. So the integration of artificial intelligence or AI into education signifies a substantial evolution in pedagogical practice. For educators and instructional designers, AI serves not just a substitute for human judgment, but as an effective co-pilot that streamlines administrative tasks and is what is important. This enables teachers to devote more attention to fostering meaningful connection with students and providing personalized mentorship. So now, our discussion will talk about these 5 areas. So number 1, AI-assisted lesson planning and curriculum design. So this is the very foundation and the backbone of the education system. So let's start with lesson planning and curriculum design. Then secondly, AI-supported lesson plans. Third, AI to create teaching materials and learning resources. And fourth, AI tools for classroom productivity. And lastly, instructional design models enhanced by AI. So these are the main topics that we're going to talk about, and this will be divided into subtopics. So to start our discussion today, so let's start with AI-assisted lesson planning and curriculum design. So it is necessary to consider this issue from the perspective of efficiency versus efficacy. Nagagamit ba natin ng mas effective, ng mas efficient ang ating ang artificial intelligence? And while artificial intelligence offers rapid solutions, imagine in just a click of a hand, marami nang malalabas. There are a lot of suggestion, lot of plans, lot of outline that artificial intelligence can provide us, most especially when regard to lesson planning and curriculum design. So, the artificial intelligence offers a rapid solution. The educator contributes essential pedagogical expertise. So, even AI is a very good help with regard to lesson planning and curriculum design. The educator like us are the one who is interacting with our learners. We are the one experiencing the classroom setup. So it is what? It is a teamwork between artificial intelligence providing lesson planning and curriculum design plus our expertise in teaching. And that's how pedagogy works in the use of artificial intelligence. So the first part with regard to assisted lesson planning and curriculum design is what we call curriculum mapping or the data-driven architect. So traditionally, aligning an entire year's curriculum with state or national standards like the Department of Education, the Tech Book, and the Commission on Higher Education involves what? Complex cross-referring between spreadsheets and textbook or other class resources that we're using to enhance learning. While artificial intelligence serves as what? As a powerful data processor, facilitating a comprehensive understanding of the underlying structure of educational standard. So ang maganda kay AI, dun sa traditional, we're going to look at these different references, combine and decide what we're going to use in the advancement of artificial intelligence in the idea of curriculum mapping, nagkakaroon na ng cross-referencing. So meaning to say, artificial intelligence suggest what? Design about curriculum, but at the end of the day, we teachers will be the one or the instructional designers or the educational designers or managers will still be the one to what? To make conclusion on what kind of curriculum or content are we going to teach with our learners. So let's proceed with this 3 about curriculum mapping. So number 1, automated gap analysis. So paano natin nagagamit ang artificial intelligence with regard to this? Upload your curriculum and new standards and easily AI pinpoints missing requirements. We can easily ask artificial intelligence about the missing points or what is lacking about what we need to improve in the current curriculum or the new standards provided by Department of Education and the Commission on Higher Education. That's why we need to work hand in hand with artificial intelligence. Tandaan po natin, si artificial intelligence is just a support. The main brain in the curriculum mapping and design are still the educators. So second, the calendar-aware sequence. So artificial intelligence creates a practical yearly plan by considering your school's calendar, so all units are covered before June, for example. So it gives us what? It gives us an outline with regard to the timeline of our discussions in the entire school year. So kung sa college, by semesters, in the Department of Education, I believe we're going to implement the three grading system, the three grading period for this school year, and also cross-curricular synthesis. So when we say cross-curricular synthesis, AI aligns, for example, 7th grade science and math timing lessons like statistics to match laboratory needs. So let's proceed with the next. The next will be the architect to curator, shift from defeating the blank page. The most taxing part of teaching is the gold standard, generating a unit from a scratch requirement, immense cognitive load. AI shifts the teacher's primary role from producer to editor-in-chief. So what does it mean? So number one, as the architect to curator shift, the first draft advantage. Rather than spending hours creating a unit, artificial intelligence for a comprehensive outline and quickly get a strong foundation. So, ano lang dito yung magiging mali? If we're going to use the first draft provided by the artificial intelligence as the final draft. So again, artificial intelligence or any platform that we use with regard to artificial intelligence is a good provider of first drafts that we need to enhance, and we need to be rational enough to decide what content are we going to use or how we're going to enhance the draft provided by artificial intelligence. Another, contextual refinement. Then adjust the lesson plan to fit your class's interest or local context, adding the human touch where needed. For example, in the context of us Philippines, in teaching in elementary and in college, it is very necessary for us to contextualize, to make examples localized. Dito papasok yung mga idea ng pantayong pananaw, for example, ni Dr. Zeus Salazar, on where, for example, in teaching history or in teaching social sciences, what we need to do is to be local, to look at the perspective in the global field or in the global setup, but we are using the context of it in the local idea. So adding the human touch where needed, on where the students and the teachers can can relate to the given example, and the teacher also can provide more examples because they are connected with the content of the subject. Then lastly, reduce decision fatigue. Automating routine tasks lets teacher focus their decision making on meaningful student interaction. Dahil it is a result of what? A result of making a very good start in drafting our lessons or in drafting our curriculum or in mapping our curriculum as architect to curatorship. So nababawasan yung oras into tedious work of creating it, at nadadagdagan yung oras to focus on the learning teaching process. So next, let's talk about the vertical alignment or building the spiral staircase. So ensures that what a student learns in grade 6, for example, isn't just repeated in grade 7. So commonly, this is the problem that we observe in our classes in educational management, most especially in curriculum development, on where the disadvantage in the use of spiral curriculum if it is not implemented well. So what will be the problem? What will be the case if it will not be planned perfectly? So there will be a repetition, and there's always what? The learning only of the foundations. So there's no progression about the learning of a specific topic or a specific discussion. So AI uses frameworks like Bloom's taxonomy to ensure this cognitive climb is intentional. But then again, we can only see this, we can only decide on this through the use of artificial intelligence in our observation of our learners inside the classroom. So, to talk about this, we have what? Scaffolding complexity. So, when we talk about scaffolding complexity, AI can map a multi-year curriculum recommending grade 6 focus on remember or understand, example, self-part identification, and grade 7 into transition to apply or analyze. Example, comparing cell functions to CT to city systems or the cell systems. So when we talk about scaffolding complexity, we're not just relying on the very basic acquisition of learning, which is to remember and to understand. But the very use of this foundation in remember and understand to use it into application and analysis. There's a level of complexity. Again, we cannot what? We cannot rely only in the use of AI with regard to the curriculum design. But let's maximize the use of it to see the progression on how we're going to design the curriculum, most especially in universities that are has an open has an open discussion about curriculum design and the likes. Another thing is vocabulary progression. So it tracks tier 2 and tier 3 vocabulary from early units, ensuring they are reinforced and expand in later grades for stronger lexical skills. So we need to see this as a part of the curriculum design, the progression of what our learners should understand and learn and founded in our classroom para hindi nagkakaroon ng repetition of it. You know, to share some point, one observation that we are experiencing in the higher education is that it is what? We are meant to teach advanced discussion in our classes. But sadly, hindi kami makapunta doon sa more complex na discussion because our students in the college level, hindi din nila alam kung ano yung basic and foundation. So, for example, kumakain ng oras yung pagbalik sa pagdidiscuss ng basic for them to understand the complexity of the topic that we're going to discuss. So ano nangyayari? Nababawasan yung oras doon sa pagdidiscuss ng complex concept kasi kailangan bumalik doon sa foundation, doon sa mga basic concept. And that's one thing that we need to face as educators. Kung hindi matututo yan, magbasa, kung hindi yan magiging matututo ng critical thinking in elementary, uulitin yung training to have critical thinking in the secondary education, in the junior high school. Kapag hindi pa din nagkaroon ng critical thinking kay junior high school, lilipat kay senior high school. So sa senior high school, kung hindi niya magagawa yung role niya to escalate critical thinking and appreciation about subject matter and content, makakarating siya ng college. Pagdating niya ng college at hindi pa rin nagawa ng mga education institution to what? To escalate the skills. For example, the 4 C's. Mangyayari doon, pagdating niya doon sa work environment, they are not ready. They are not what? Ready for the job. At nagkakaroon dyan ng domino effect. If the foundation will not be discussed good through the implementation of the curriculum, which is the very backbone of our educational system, it will not work. That's why maybe as educators, we are observing why our educational setup in the Philippines is not that much progressing because it is a domino effect from the early education of the students up to what? Up to their experience in the real life after college or after they study. And also, the prerequisite mapping. For example, in high school, if a student struggles with grade 9 algebra, artificial intelligence can help quickly pinpoint missing grade 7 skills like ratios or integers for targeted support. For example, in history, how are they going to understand the very essence of understanding history and appreciating history if the very last time that they talk about Philippine history is in elementary? Or magiging follow-up na lang, for example, pagdating ng college. So imagine natin yung setup in our education system. For example, in history. We are talking Asian history, we're talking about the world history, we're talking about economics. But how our students were going to appreciate these topics if huli pa nilang pinag-usapan yung Philippine history doong elementary sila. So they are what? They are becoming so detached with contextualizing what is happening around. Because the very foundation of understanding the identity of Filipinos, for example, with regard to politics, with regard to economy, with regard to leadership, is very low. So another, seasoned teachers' insight. So, napakahalaga ng role natin as teachers, the master teachers, the professors, the seasoned teacher, the well-experienced teachers. In what? Consider AI as your teaching assistant with perfect recall. Alam natin, no, matagal na tayong gumraduate from college, from our masters, from our doctorate degree. For example, I am the profession for 13 years now. I graduated in 2014 in my bachelor's degree. And through the use of AI, whenever I want to have discussion or I want to create discussion for my class, nare-remind ako about this theory, about this learning models, because I'm also teaching professional education for teachers. So, nare-remind at mas nagkakaroon ng better application because of the combination of my prior knowledge and my experiences now dun sa mga bagong knowledge. So, the seasoned teacher, what's the difference between a seasoned teacher and a new teacher? A seasoned teacher, they can provide a lot of examples. They can simplify theories. They can simplify what? They can simplify topics because what they learn is not just about theories, but they learn it through their experiences. So they can easily provide it. And our expertise, our experience is necessary in the combination of the use of artificial intelligence, most especially in our design, in classroom or curriculum or topic design. So let's proceed with the second part. So designing artificial intelligence as supported lesson plans. The lesson's quality depends on the quality of input. So it relies on what we're going to feed, what we're going to input. Using artificial intelligence as a search engine yields generic result. Dito na papasok yung tinatawag natin na prompt engineering. If you're familiar with prompt engineering, how are you going to give instruction to artificial intelligence for better result? So using artificial intelligence as a search engine yields to what? Generic result. But the question will be, we are using it not just in the perspective of a student, but in the perspective of an educator. At alam po natin, di ba? We need to be what? We need to be far ahead from our students with regard to our content. But treating it as a skilled teaching assistant produces professional instructional design. So what's our key terms for this second part of our discussion? Number one, it depends on what we're going to input. It depends on what we're going to instruct artificial intelligence to produce generic result. Ano po ba yung sakit ng mga estudyante? Ano po ba yung sakit ng ilang mga educators with regard to the use of artificial intelligence? Binigay, create a discussion about artificial intelligence. Masunurin si AI, gagawa siya ng topic, maglalagay siya doon ng discussion, maglalagay siya ng example. But the very idea of it, that's the first drop only. It is what? It is our guide to create our discussion. Ginawa na ni artificial intelligence yung role niya to create an outline of what possible topic are we going to discuss or to dig in with regard to the topic that we're going to discuss. At trabahong tamad kapag ika-copy-paste na lang natin yung binigay ni artificial intelligence into PowerPoint. And there are some also who are using PowerPoint na generated by artificial intelligence. But then again, is there anything wrong with that? The answer will be no. As much as we take into consideration that is what? It is not the first draft. Hindi kung ano yung tinanong mo kay AI at kung ano yung pinrovide ni AI. That's it. We need to dig in and to study more the content of the provided outline. So dapat yun yung maging attitude both learners and educators in the use of artificial intelligence. So let's talk about the subtopic under designing AI-supported lesson plans. So the first one is the anatomy of high-quality prompt. I don't know if you're familiar with prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering? It is the art of providing enough guardrails so the artificial intelligence doesn't drift into generic or irrelevant territory. What do we mean by that? We set parameters. We ask artificial intelligence on what specific perspective it will be what? It will be creating the discussion. Kailangan pati yun. Kasi pag nilagay lang natin, create a discussion, design a lesson plan, design a topic with regard to it, design an assessment with regard to this topic, the output will not be personalized. The output will not be based genuinely on our personality or doesn't reflect our personality or doesn't reflect even on how we teach and how we interact with our students. So pag pinag-usapan natin yung the anatomy of high quality prompt, so may pinag-uusapan tayo dito, the role. So we need to establish the persona. So whenever we use artificial intelligence in designing what? In designing curriculum, in designing lesson plans, in designing our assessment, in designing our instructional design, we need to establish what role does AI needed to be. Yung parang ganito, for example, iba yung perspective ng student. If the student will be asking to create this topic, iba yung perspective ng student. Iba rin yung perspective ng isang language teacher sa perspective ni science teacher, sa perspective ni master teacher, sa perspective ni teacher, sa perspective ni principal, ni educational manager, sa perspective ng iba pang discipline. So, when you tell an artificial intelligence to act as an expert 10th grade biology teacher, you are essentially telling the model to prioritize specific database. For example, if you're going to create a report in the graduate studies, for example, on your master's degree or in your doctorate degree, hindi po pwede na ilalagay lang natin doon na create a discussion about this topic. No. We need to be what? We need to ask artificial intelligence to think on the parameter of our discipline. For example, if you will be reporting in front of doctorate students or masterate student, kailangan yung output to be provided by AI is in the level of these students. Magkaiba yung level of difficulty when we talk to elementary students, when we talk to secondary students, when we talk to graduate students, in the postgraduate students. So we need to what? We need to consider this thing in designing our instruction in creating lessons using the artificial intelligence. So for example, without the role, the AI might give you a lesson plan suitable for PhD student or a 5-year-old student if you will not what? Instruct it on the manner of the role or the persona it needed to be. 'Di ba po? For example, if you're going to ask me, "Sir, what do you do whenever you do a prompt in artificial intelligence?" For example, my first statement is always this: you are an expert teacher in technology for teaching and learning. One. So, meaning to say, the AI is now giving the hint that it is what? It needed to think like what? An expert teacher to this subject. Not as what? Not as a language expert. Are you getting the point? Not just what? Not just an elementary teacher, but an expert teacher in technology for teaching and learning. One, for ano ngayon, ano yung context ngayon? For student teachers. So nagkakaroon ng limitation at nagkakaroon ng higher definition si artificial intelligence kung papaano siya dapat mag-isip. So, with the role, for example, the artificial intelligence adopts a tone that is professional yet accessible, focuses on age-appropriate analogies, and understand the typical misconceptions 15-year-olds have about science. Are you getting the point? For example, even the level of difficulty, is it for elementary students? Will the discussion or the lesson plan be fitted for the specific age or the specific grade level? If we're going to analyze and to look back on it in our undergraduate discussions with regard to the development of the students intellectually and how they are being prepared mentally, cognitively, effectively, and also in psychomotor, may iba-ibang mga need per stages of age. So we need to consider that also. Kailangan, my dear educators, my dear learners who are listening, kailangan iset natin si artificial intelligence kung paano din tayo nag-iisip. You know what's also good about artificial intelligence? If you will have a thread doon sa ating ginagawang mga prompt, nagkakaroon ng idea also si artificial intelligence kung paano din tayo nag-iisip. Ano yung pinanggagalingan natin? Saan tayo nanggagaling? For example, even at times that I am not specifically instructing AI about this, but because I have asked and provided this information about my perspective, about my arguments to specific topic in the previous, nagagamit ngayon in designing what I am asked it to do. Kasi meron na siyang thread. Nakikita niya, ito, ganito nag-iisip to, ganito yung mga tinatanong niya. So, I can incorporate it dito sa bago niyang tinatanong. So, that's the very idea of artificial intelligence. Also, if we're going to use a very good prompt engineering, how we're going to what? How are we going to conceptualize? How we're going to create the instruction that we're giving to artificial intelligence? So the persona, for example, you are an expert teacher in language in Filipino subject. You are an expert science teacher. You are an expert master. You are a master of education major in ganito. You are a PhD student in ganito. So create a topic with this criteria. So those are what? AI engineering. Another thing, we have the topic and the context. Ito na yung pagdudugtungin natin. Sorry, medyo na ano ko to doon sa first topic. After the persona, we have the topic and the context. It is not good to ask AI make a lesson about DNA. Make a discussion about artificial intelligence. Make a discussion about different educational leadership style. No, that's very generic. So when we talk about the topic and the context, on the specific filter, broad topics lead to fluff. To get depth, you must provide context. Sabi ko nga po sa inyo, no, kailangan i-instruct natin si artificial intelligence kung paano siya dapat mag-isip, ano ang limitation ng ano ang limitation or scope ng dapat niyang i-provide, ano yung objective na dapat niyang ma-provide, at ano yung context na dapat ilagay niya in the creation of the discussion. So, for example, the generic example, make a lesson plan about DNA. That's very generic. That's how majority of learners and educators are giving instruction with artificial intelligence. Make a lesson about it. Make a discussion about this. Make a presentation about this. But look at the difference between a generic, a specific, and an advanced context with regard to creation of prompt. Ito na nga po yung pinag-uusapan, no? In the university, it's no longer a question whether to adopt artificial intelligence. No, it's there. It was created to what? It is created not to ruin the education, but it is created to what? To be utilized in a higher perspective on where both the students and the teachers will what? Will benefit. So that's the very context why we are using artificial intelligence. What we need to discuss is to how are we going to teach our students and ourselves also how to use it responsibly. So in our educational institution, in our education, in our different fields, we must secure what? Protocols on in the use of artificial intelligence. Because like what we are experiencing, for example, hybrid learning, hyperflex learning is there to stay. It's not in our hands to decide whether to use it or not. It's like it's also like artificial intelligence. It's there. And it is created, it is being improved for the benefit of us. So why not use artificial intelligence in our own advantage? So, plan a lesson plan on the difference between nuclear DNA and a mitochondrial DNA, specifically focusing on maternal inheritance pattern. So nagkaroon na siya ngayon ng ng very specific topic to discuss. But in the advanced context, look at the example. Mentioning specific curriculum standards like the Matatag curriculum or K-12 standard ensures that AI aligns with the mandatory learning competencies required in your specific region. So that's more what? That's more specific. That's more intentional on the targeted audience in our classroom. So the persona, the topic context, and also the pedagogy, the instructional engine. This is where the seasoned teacher shines. That's why if I'm going to ask you, can artificial intelligence replace us teachers? The answer is no. Because as the lead player in the academy, this is where the seasoned teacher shines. Artificial intelligence can only generate content, but our role as teachers is what? Our role as educators is what? To tell it how to teach. For example, in dual coding theory, you can prompt the artificial intelligence to ensure the lesson incorporates dual coding theory by suggesting specific visual aids to pair with verbal explanation. In Gagne's 9 events, best for structured, direct instruction. In the Universal Design for Learning or UDL, use this to ensure the lesson is accessible to students with diverse learning needs from the very start. And this decision can only happen, this parameter can only happen in the help of not AI alone, but in the what? In the context of the seasoned teachers on how we, based on our experience, decide and give parameter to artificial intelligence in our class discussion and class designs. So what are the constraints? The reality check. This is the most overlooked part of prompt engineering. Constraint force the AI to solve real-world classroom problems. Always remember, artificial intelligence cannot replace human minds. Artificial intelligence can provide information, but still what? Number one, time constraints. Time constraints. The engaged section must be exactly 7 minutes. Resource constraints, assume no internet access for students and only basic stationery available. And another, differentiation, constraints. Provide 3 dimension of the explore activity. One for high achievers, one for struggling readers, and one for the kinesthetic learners. No, this is where the multiple intelligence of Howard Gardner uh, will manifest the different learning style and different capability of the students, the different intelligences of our students. So again, this can only be happen because of our observation as teachers in the classroom. We can only what? We can only instruct artificial intelligence to be fitting on the need of our classroom. AI cannot do that. AI is not teaching inside the classroom. AI cannot see emotions of students struggling inside the classroom. We teachers is the one who's seeing it in our discussions, in our learning process. So another, the iterative loop, the critic and refine method. So professional instructional design with AI is rarely a one and done process. It is a dialogue. Once the artificial intelligence generates the first draft, a seasoned educator should follow up these prompts. So what are those? Number one, the critic. This is a good start, but the explanation section is too lecture heavy. Can you turn it into a collaborative jigsaw activity? So this is where our own personal judgment will occur. Do not be satisfied on the first draft that artificial intelligence provides. Huwag tayo doon, no? Kailangan we dig in, we question also. We question also artificial intelligence, why they put it, can they make it simpler? Because we are the one seeing the different learning styles of our students. Second, the expansion. I like the hook you suggested. Can you write a 200-word script? I can read to the class for that section. So the expansion, no, to elaborate, to enhance, to what improve this part of the outline that AI provided. And the assessment. Based on this lesson, create a 5-item formative assessment that test, analyze level thinking in Bloom's taxonomy. But my dear teachers, dear educators, and dear learners, we need to be conscious enough about assessment, most especially when asking artificial intelligence. For example, in multiple choices, makikita natin doon pare-parehas ba yung choices niya, on the same level ba? Yung mga distractors ba niya on the same level? Are we measuring critical thinking of our students? No? O kaya baka letter B lahat ng sagot niyan. Kasama yun dapat ba mini-measure nito yung higher order thinking skills or dapat doon lang tayo sa lower order thinking skills? So those prompts are needed in creation of assessment. So again, it's a long topic, it's a different set of topic if we're going to talk about creating assessments in the use of artificial intelligence. Is there a problem with the use of it? No. But then again, have your TOS, have your table of specification in the creation of assessment for examinations, no, for long tests, for quizzes, and always have the good judgment whether is this question applicable or necessary or it's not. So if you're not satisfied with the provided output of artificial intelligence, maybe we need to improve the prompt that we're going to ask AI with regard to our assessment. But it's a good tool. No, it's a good what? It's a good foundation. Sorry, it's a good draft if we're going to use it in assessment. So if you're going to combine it all, for example, of a master prompt for educators, imagine niyo po kanina tinanong lang natin doon, what is discussed no DNA. Pero tingnan niyo po yung nakalagay dito. Act as an expert instructional designer and science teacher. I need a 60-minute lesson plan for grade 10 students on mitochondrial DNA. Use the 5E model. The lesson must align with standardized science competencies regarding heredity. Constraints include hands-on engaged activity using only recycled materials. Ensure the lesson incorporates dual coding by suggesting specific diagrams to accompany the lecture. And finally, provide a 3-question exit ticket at the evaluate stage. So this is a master prompt. Again, so sir, after having this, meaning to say, can we have a good or a perfect or an excellent lesson design after this? The answer, it's what? It's more directed. But then again, it depends on our judgment whether to use this or to use the content provided by AI. Tandaan nyo po, si AI naghahang din yan. Kapag marami na kayong masyadong tinatanong sa kanya, naghahang na rin yung utak niya. No, hindi siya hindi niya kayang sagutin lahat ng tanong. Naliliton-liton na rin si AI kapag too much or masyadong overloaded yung information na tinatanong sa kanya. But in the use of this prompt, in the use of prompt engineering, we can assure that we can have a good result, a good or a better result. Kung ang tinanong lang natin ay create a discussion about DNA. Okay? So, let's proceed with the next. Using artificial intelligence to create teaching materials and learning resources. So, the creation of teaching materials is no longer a task of curating from what's available, but rather architecting what is needed. In the modern classroom, AI acts as a content engine that bridges the gap between high-level curriculum standards and the diverse needs of individual students. So let's proceed with the subtopic of this. So number one, the custom reading passages, achieving tiered literacy. So the biggest challenge in a mixed ability classroom is what? Is finding a single text that doesn't bore the advanced reader. So this is one of our problem with regard to lesson design of how our students, for example, will be what? Will be managed inside our classroom. So finding a single text that doesn't bore the advanced reader or frustrate them because they are on what? They are on different learning capacity or learning style. Okay? So AI allows for content identical, level different instruction. So let's proceed. So custom reading passages or achieving tiered literacy. So number one that we need to consider, lexile differentiation. Another thing, vocabulary scaffolding and cultural contextualization. Again, my dear educators and learners, we need to what? We need to see the level of understanding, the level of comprehension, the level of how students decode vocabulary stumbling blocks in our discussion, and always put into context, cultural context. Make it on the local example. Think global, but use local example to contextualize it. No, most especially in social sciences and humanities subject, we need to be local with regard to contextualization of culture. So let's talk about automated assessment or building the feedback loop. So assessment is often the bottleneck of teaching. AI doesn't just create the test. It creates the data-informed response. So ano ibig sabihin natin dito? Number one, transcription to text. Tools like EdCafe AI allow you to record your lecture or upload a YouTube video of a lesson. The AI analyzes the transcripts and generates a 10-question quiz that focuses only on what was actually said in class, ensuring high instructional alignment. Another, instant rubric generation. Instead of a generic good, fair, poor rubric, you can input your specific prompt, for example, and receive a 4-point analytical rubric aligned with specific competencies. But then again, it depends on the prompt engineering, on how we're going to what? Create rubric. And also, the last, the exit ticket engine. So at the end of a lesson, AI can generate 3 low-stakes questions based on that day-specific whiteboard notes that gauge student understanding before they leave the room. But then again, may always advise, we are the one to decide whether to accept the output of artificial intelligence provided from what we've asked from it to give us. But again, we are the one deciding whether to use it or not, depending on our observation, depending on how we see our learners, depending on the circumstance happening inside the classroom, that is not being considered in the creation of prompt through the use of artificial intelligence or in the use of AI. So AI imagery and visuals, so reducing cognitive load. So we know from dual coding theory by Mayer that students learn better when words are paired with images. This is in alignment of what? Dr. Mayer. However, Googling an image often results in copyrighted, low resolution, or overly busy visual. So tandaan po natin, pag gumagamit tayo sa dual coding, hindi pwede na walang visuals or walang icons yung PowerPoint or yung presentation or yung material. It must be a combination of what? Text and image. So scientific precision, specialized tools like Sidro AI or BioRender powered by artificial intelligence can create journal-ready scientific diagrams. You can prompt for a simplified cross-section of a plant cell featuring only the mitochondria and chloroplast for a grade 6 audience. Or to create infographics, or to create what? Graphic organizers, so the such. For example, historical reconstruction. If you're teaching Philippine history, you can use Midjourney or Adobe Firefly to generate high-fidelity photographs of what a bahay na bato might have looked like in the 19th century, or a primary source style sketch of a historical figure where no portrait exists. Diba po, no? In historical reconstruction, in subjects that requires primary sources, we need to take consideration of what? Yung iba nga po, di ba, yung colorize. Kung saan yung mga black and white picture, nilalagay ka artificial intelligence, at makikita natin na mas nagkakaroon ng buhay if these old photographs are put into color. No? And also, since it is what? Since it is a primary source, some of them, they don't have what? Available pictures in the internet. So the use of AI imagery and visuals is very useful. And also, engine visual metaphors. For abstract context like inflation or cellular respiration, AI can generate custom visual metaphors like recorded videos for the discussion of some visual metaphors as a representation of the actual lesson, if it is not available to be physical or to be manipulated by hands by the students. For example, cellular respiration, for example, blood flow. So we can ask AI to generate those for us. Another, the seasoned teacher's perspective as the curator over creator. So while artificial intelligence generates the materials, the expert teacher must apply the accuracy and ethics filter. So the seasoned teachers, what's our role? What's our perspective as a curator and over creator? Fact-checking. AI can hallucinate. Ito po yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina. Facts in history or science, a teacher's role is to verify output against established textbook or in our existing materials in our material bank. Another, bias check. AI models can sometimes reflect Western biases. Ang point lang po doon, we need to contextualize. We need to base it in our own context as a Filipino. As a Filipino educator, it is crucial to ensure that AI-generated resources reflect local values and accurate historical narratives. And what's the pro tip? Always keep a master folder, of your best AI prompts. Itatago niyo po yung mga magaganda niyong prompt. For example, yung nagawa niyong prompt sa paggawa ng ganitong lesson, yung prompt sa paggawa ng ganitong assessment. For material, once you find a prompt that generates a perfect worksheet or a nearly perfect worksheet for a specific topic, save that recipe to reuse every year or every lesson or in every engagement that you will be able to use that kind of prompt. Babaguhin nyo na lang yung topic, babaguhin nyo na lang yung condition, babaguhin nyo na lang yung objects. So that's the pro tip, to have a master folder. So now let's proceed with the next. So AI tools for classroom productivity. So this addresses what? The invisible workload, the hours spent outside of instruction on emails, spreadsheets, and slide design for a seasoned teacher. These tools are about reclaiming time for actual pedagogy. So what does it mean? It talks about what? Documents eliminating parent communication fatigue. So teachers are often expected to be professional writers on top of being educators. So AI reduces the cognitive load of drafting recurring documents. Anong pong ibig sabihin nito? Number one, the tone shifter for emails. So use AI to draft sensitive emails. You can provide a rough thought and ask artificial intelligence to rewrite this as supportive professional email to a parent that offers a collaborative solution. So, kayo po yung maglalagay ng content. So, artificial intelligence will find better ways to communicate and to put it into words that can easily be identified and understood by the parents or the students. So, dynamic newsletters, tools like Brisk Teaching or Microsoft Copilot can take a bulleted list of the week's classroom highlights and turn them into a polished, visually organized parent newsletter in seconds. Most especially if you want to make what? If you want to make report or make connections with the progress of your classroom discussion to the parents, we can use these platforms. And policy and permission slips. So AI can instantly draft permission slip that include all necessary legal and logistical boilerplate language, ensuring you don't miss critical details like emergency contact sections or dietary restriction checkboxes. Another, spreadsheets from data entry to emotional insights. So while teachers have used spreadsheets for decades, AI transformed them from static ledgers into predictive tools. So number one, automated formula writing. For example, here, no, you ask a formula for this. AI can easily provide this. And another, localized reporting. In the Philippine context, tools are emerging to automate DepEd school forms for basic education. So instead of manual encoding, AI integrates systems like OpenEduCat or custom Excel macros powered by AI can now sync quarterly grades and core values rating directly into the official SF9 format, saving days of manual labor. So we know for a fact that it's very tedious, no, whenever we are creating these files because we need to cross-reference different documents and put it into one. But in the use of artificial intelligence, we can maximize what? A spreadsheet in the application or inputting information of our students in their reports, for especially for SF9 and in other universities. This will omit us from what? Creating mistakes in the input of informations. And lastly for this, sentiment analysis of feedback. So this is a game changer. For student well-being, if you give a mid-semester survey with open-ended question like, how do you feel about the pace of this class? You can use AI too. For example, categorize, group 50 plus comments into positive, neutral, or concerns. Another, team extraction. We can use this prompt. Identify that 70% of the students feel the homework load is the primary stressor, allowing you to make data-driven adjustments immediately. But then again, counter-check the output of AI. But again, it can what? It can give analysis. It can give feedback. It can summarize. If you want to have, if you want to incorporate this into our research, we can use artificial intelligence. But then again, AI in research is another topic to be discussed in the near future if you wanted to explore the use of AI in research. So, presentations, the depth of the bullet point slide. So, traditional slide design is time-consuming and often result in death by PowerPoint. AI tools like Gamma, Tome, and NextDocs, popular in 2026 for STEM, changed the workflow. So, presentations, like what? Email outline to deck. You can paste a rough lesson outline and these tools will automatically generate a 10-slide deck with appropriate headers, layouts, and royalty-free AI imagery. But then again, before you use it, Before you have the discussion with your students, counter check it. If it is in your liking, if it fits your character also as a teacher. Another, web native layouts, Gamma. Gamma creates responsive representations that look like high-end website. This is perfect for students viewing materials on mobile phones. The layout adjusts automatically so text is never too small. So ito po yung mga pwede natin gamitin. And the STEM specific design or the next docs. For higher education, like what we are, like I am in, for higher education and research, AI now handles complex latex equations and scientific diagrams natively, ensuring that math, science slides are precise rather than just pretty. So we can eliminate time consuming uh, preparations if we're going to maximize AI. But then again, ang lagi kong paalala, before you use it, counter check, no? Hindi yung tipong, ay, wala akong lesson ngayon, AI, provide PowerPoint. Tapos without even reading it, pupunta sa classroom, babasahin. So it's not that way. No, it still need preparation ahead of time so that we can understand, we can learn, we can assess if it is befitting to our character as teachers, if the content are aligned with our own likings and understanding about the topic. Okay? And also if it is aligned with the previous topic that we are discussing. So next will be instructional design models enhanced by artificial intelligence. So now we're down with the last part of our discussion. So the theoretical architecture for learning, but they are often criticized for being slow and linear. AI acts as a supercharger, transforming these rigid frameworks into agile data-driven system. So let's proceed. So let's talk about the ADDIE model from linear to dynamic. I don't know if you can still remember this, dear educators in your undergraduate, the ADDIE model, analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation, is the gold standard for many educational institutions, particularly those aligning with ISO 21001 of 2018. Standards for quality management. AI evolves each phase from manual labor to automated insights. So what are these? So the ADDIE model from linear to dynamic, number one, analysis, the precision phase. So it talks about competency mapping, followed by needs assessment. So instead of manual surveys, AI can perform sentiments analysis on students' forums or previous course feedback to identify hidden pain points the student might not explicitly report. As a continuation also, design and development, the fast prototype phase. So micro-learning generation, once the objectives are set, AI can suggest the most effective chunking of content. It can propose a sequence that moves from lower order to higher order thinking based on Bloom's taxonomy. And another thing, the multimedia orchestration. Tools like Synthesia or Hygen allow designers to create video lectures with artificial avatars in minutes. So if you want also to use this kind of material in our classes, then good for us. And it is a call for the 21st century learning, no? The 21st century learners in the integration, the creation, the collaboration. Okay? If a curriculum changes, you don't need to reshoot. You simply update the text script and the video generates. So in the implementation and evaluation, the real-time phase, 24/7 cognitive tutors. During the implementation, AI-driven chatbots act as teaching assistant, freeing the teacher for high-level mentorship. Another, the automated audit trails. For institutions focused on quality assurance and non-conformity reporting, AI can automatically flag modules that have low engagement or high failure rates, triggering the immediate evaluation phase without waiting for the end of the semester. So this is a very helpful tool for us educators to assess also if our students are having difficulty or to assess also if our teaching is effective inside our classroom. We can make this maybe every end of the term to assess and to further improve in the succeeding grading periods or semesters. Okay, another thing is the SAM or the Successive Approximation Model, the Red Team AI. The SAM model is built on the philosophy of fail fast, iterate faster. So it is inherently agile, and AI is the perfect partner for this rapid prototyping approach. So what's SAM or what is SAM or Successive Approximation Model? So number one, the AI critic loop. So SAM, you create a savvy start. AI accelerates the refinement of this prototype through number one, the perspective prompt. You can feed your lesson plan into an AI and say, critique this from the perspective of a student with ADHD, for example, or with mental disability, or with some incompetence. Or identify three potential points of confusion for a non-native speaker. So this will be a good tool to assess if there's lacking with our preparation in the lesson plan, in our lesson plan. Then rapid iteration. Based on the critic, you don't spend days writing. You ask the artificial intelligence, give me three alternative activities that addresses those confusion points and select the one that fits your classroom culture. Again, AI can only give what? Suggestion. We are the one to decide of what are we going to use. So, having all of this, so these are my references in our discussion. So, the very idea of artificial intelligence for teaching and instructional design, this is a tool. We cannot escape and we cannot be so angry in the use of artificial intelligence in the part of our students. But what we need to appreciate about this is how we're going to use artificial intelligence in our own advantage to better teach our students and how are we going to engage them to better learning. So what are the key points why we are discussing this? Number one, we cannot avoid artificial intelligence. We are in an era where technological advancement is very prevailing in the education system. Number two, it's not about what? It's not about the use of AI, but it is about how are we going to responsibly use this in the intention of creating a more engaging classroom, a more sensitive classroom, and uh, a classroom which offers what? Offers quality learning. In our discussion for today, what I want to impart with you as as a teacher that has an experience teaching junior high school and in the college level, that our students are what? Hindi sila mahina, hindi sila mangmang, hindi sila tamad, but they are what? They are in the era of using technology on their own advantage, on their own advantage. And what we need to teach them is to be responsible. And also, if our learners are now engaged with the use of artificial intelligence in learning, and so we ask teachers, if they are using AI on their advantage as learners in their learning capacity, we teachers must also do the same. Use artificial intelligence in our own advantage in the creation of lessons which will help our students in the lifelong learning, which is life. So with this lecture that we have today, hoping that we maximize it and we use it in our own advantage. Hope you've learned something in our discussion and have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Closing remarks as we come to the end of this CETRAB seminar, we extend our sincere gratitude to everyone who made today meaningful and engaging. Our discussion on AI in teaching and instructional design has reminded us that technology is not meant to replace educators, but to empower us, to design more inclusive, responsive, and learner-centered experiences. May the insights we gain today encourage us to innovate responsibly, use AI ethically, and continuously improve our instructional practices for the benefit of our learners and institutions. Thank you to our speaker, CETRAB, and participants for your time, openness, and commitment to professional growth. Let us move forward inspired, equipped, and ready to apply what we have learned. Once again, thank you, and may we all have a productive and successful journey ahead.